Senator Tom Cotton, and I'm not going to talk about politics with him. Good morning, Senator. Welcome back.
Hey, Hugh. It's good to be on with you.
You were one of the first to join in sounding the alarm about coronavirus. The stats this morning, the mortality expected at about 1%. Flu, by comparison, is at 0.07, so it's 15 times as deadly. The R-0 is at 2.3. That means anyone infected gives it, on average, at 2.3 people. 43,000 cases confirmed by China, 1,018 deaths, 4,000 recoveries. Not sure if we can believe that. And then the World Health Organization says to China, this is the tip of the iceberg. What do you know? Where are we? What do you think our level of alarm should be?
Well, Hugh, I think the key word or the key words you said in there is not sure we can believe that. The answer is we cannot believe those numbers coming from China. They are apt to be much worse. Now, there are steps that we can take, as we did with SARS, to reduce what is known as the R-0 rate, which is the rate at which one person infects other people, to get it down below 2 and hopefully below 1. Hopefully there are steps we can do to reduce the mortality rate as well. However, when there are still so many unknowns, it is only prudent to err on the side of caution. That's what the administration has done, what I urge them to do, by shutting down travel from China except for American citizens. And that's one reason why it is so important that the World Health Organization is finally taking this as seriously as they should have when it was first reported to them almost 6 weeks ago in late December. It's also important that we get Western scientists from reputable, reliable institutions into China so they can get to the bottom of what happened with this virus, where it came from, so we can hopefully develop a vaccine or at least learn more about the way it is transmitted to have more effective preventive measures. That is what China still does not allow us to do today.
Senator Cotton, the great influenza of 1918 mutated 12 times between its appearance in April of 2018 and its outburst and its deadly killing in the fall of 2018. So I think we cannot relax if it goes away for a little bit. My question to you, do you think the United States is doing everything that it can and is understood to be doing everything that it can do? Because I believe Democrats will savage Donald Trump if it gets to this country in large numbers.
Yeah, I want to commend the president for taking decisive action to shut down travel a couple weeks ago from China. More than 20,000 people came in every day. That was a very critical step to mitigate the risk. Unfortunately, we've had about 1.5 million people, maybe a little more, since late November come to the country from China before it was the scope of the risk was appreciated. That's why it's so important that we engage in the contact tracing that our federal government and state governments are doing, trying to identify contacts of people who have been in China, and especially in Hubei province, and then we'll get effective testing kits out promptly to all the states. So the administration, I believe, is taking all prudent precautionary measures. Again, when there are so many unknowns, it is only reasonable to err on the side of caution. That's what so many people, to include senior officials in China, senior officials at the World Health Organization, did not do. They are more focused on trying to minimize the risk and eliminate what they call potential for fear or panic or anything else. You don't have to fear, you don't have to panic to take seriously the risk of an unknown virus. That's where we should have been from the beginning. That's where the Trump administration has been.
You know, the 1918 example is heavy on my mind. It was a serial under-response for fear of fear.
Yeah.
And so that paralyzes people.
So Hugh, you're absolutely right about the great influenza of 1918. However, you don't even have to go back that far. SARS itself had the exact same pattern. You can study what the government of Canada put together in a commission that was kind of like our 9/11 commission that studied the response to SARS in Toronto and Ontario. Because they were so fearful about its economic impact, especially on tourism, the local and provincial governments declared victory over SARS as the cases were going down because of aggressive precautionary measures. And then what happened? You saw a second spike of SARS in Toronto in April, May, and June of 2003 that led to many more deaths that would have been entirely preventable. That's why it is so important that you follow Benjamin Franklin's maxim on these matters. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure until you're sure that you are in fact cured.
Last question. The CCP, Communist Chinese Party, very corrupt, and they have some extremists within it who would like nothing more than to export this to the United States. And they've also got bribe takers who will let people who fear the virus flee to the greatest medicine in the world, which is in America. Do you think we are underestimating either risk here?
I think that we cannot have too much skepticism about the Chinese Communist Party in general, or in particular about the way it has responded to this outbreak, given its pattern of duplicity and incompetence and corruption in past outbreaks.
Tom Cotton, always a pleasure.